Well, hello everyone. Welcome to WYD Rocks. This is Dario from worldut.com, joined by my good friend and collaborator from WYDCentral.org, Deacon Pedro. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
hello,
Different entry.
hello.
I figured we'd do something different today, being part two of our three-part series on the World Youth Day Week. A lot has happened from the World Youth Day perspective. The backpacks have officially been announced. The bridge has been dedicated. This bridge that's going to connect probably most likely the people that are going to be coming for only the weekend, or the people from the city of Lisbon who are going to be on the other side of the bridge, who have not paid for the registration for the whole week. Because if you looked at the area of the final site, that front area is going to be for all pilgrims registered for the whole week or just a weekend. And then after that is pretty much the rest of the country of Portugal and maybe some people from Spain. But yeah, things are moving. I mean, we are 20 days away from the
20 days.
start of World Youth Day, Lisbon 2023. It's crazy.
Crazy.
What are you feeling right now, considering we're so close to that point?
I'm feeling so unprepared. I'm feeling so unprepared, but at the same time, I'm thinking, like, you know what? Bring it on. Like, you just arrive and everything falls into place. And that's always the experience of World Youth Day. It makes me a little scared because I like to plan, but I don't have to worry about, a whole bunch of pilgrims in my group.
Yeah,
So I just have to worry about myself.
well, let's not rub it into those poor chaperones that are listening in, thinking, "Oh my
Yeah.
Lord, we have 50 young people that we're going to be watching after in Portugal."
And we still don't know what our catechesis sites are. Yes,
No,
but you will find out. You will find
yes,
out, and that's what happens on Wednesday. So we've arrived Monday, Tuesday. You've already figured out where you're staying.
get your
Hopefully there's
credentials.
hot water, and you have your pilgrim kits. You've had your first little meeting. Everybody's excited. You went to the opening mass on Tuesday night, and World Youth Day has officially started. Maybe you even caught a little youth festival event on Tuesday night or something. Wednesday, you wake up in the morning. Hopefully, there's breakfast. Hopefully, there's showers. And hopefully, you're staying nearby your catechesis site. And so my understanding with this World Youth Day is that rather than having some large, like usually English, Spanish, Italian, those are large language groups, will have massive catechesis sites. My understanding is that they've made a very intentional point to do smaller sites. So they'll be in parishes and schools, probably. And so you'll be assigned to, if you're an English speaker, you'll be assigned to an English speaking catechesis site, and that should be near where your accommodations are. And yeah, so that's the morning of Wednesday is a catechesis. The catechesis this year are going to be, well, they're expected to be a little different. But the idea is that a catechesis is an encounter of the lay church, so the young people, the lay church, with the hierarchical church in the presence of the bishop, or represented by the bishop. So every catechesis has a bishop. Usually the bishop is the main speaker, or he does a little catechesis session, a teaching on something. The idea with these catechesis sessions is that they're going to be a little different, that the young people will also have a little more participation. That doesn't mean that the bishop will not speak, but we're not sure how that's going to work. Some catechesis sessions are really super well organized and sponsored by Episcopal conferences or movements, associations, and you'll have music and animation, and there might be skits. And some are just very basic. You just come in, there's a song, and the bishop speaks, and there's a opportunity for, I think the opportunity for the bishop to actually dialogue with the young people is what's beautiful about the catechesis. So whether it is young people leading it, asking questions of the bishop, or whether it's the bishop leading it, asking questions of the young people, as long as they dialogue and they communicate, I think that that's what's beautiful for most young people. As you know, Dario, most young people have never even seen a bishop,
It's very
let
true.
alone, like maybe they've never been to an event where they've heard their local bishop speaking. So this is an important opportunity where we get to listen to the shepherds. These are the successors of the apostles. Um, and there are some great bishops around the world. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had the chance to have, especially in English, which are the catechesis sessions that I go to. They're like the heavy hitters, man. All the cardinals and the Cardinal Dolans and the Archbishop Fishers of Australia and Cardinal Tagle of the Philippines, Cardinal Worrell. Is he still in Washington? I don't know if he's still in
No, no, he's not
Washington.
in
No,
Washington
he's
anymore.
gone.
But
He's retired.
we've had.
Yeah, he's
But
retired.
here's the interesting thing, like, and you might not even know this, but the bishops and the cardinals don't even know where they're going to be speaking at. Not
No, not
until
yet.
probably about 2 or 3 days before the event. That way, it keeps you fresh and enthusiastic that regardless of who comes to your session, I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
you can have these heavy hitters show up and you're like, whoa, like, starstruck. Oh my gosh, that's Cardinal Tagle. I mean, like, you could probably see him as the next pope, and you're like, man, I'm getting to meet the next pope. Who knows?
Yeah.
But not necessarily that case, because there are people there that are just very excited to see their own bishop. But that might not happen either. I just got a list of the 60 bishops coming from the United States, and it was interesting to see this list and thinking to myself, like, oh wow, cool. That anybody of these bishops would be a very
They're all
cool to
great.
listen
Yep.
to. But no matter who the bishop is, as Deacon Pedro mentioned, he's right. Like, it is the successor of the apostle, and we're going to be sitting there and engaged with the animation. There's going to be
Exactly.
people representing different English speaking parts of the world, especially if you're attending an English catechesis. That maybe they're animating a group from Australia, maybe a group from Ireland is
Yeah.
animating it, and you're there. But it's going to be the very beautiful universal feel of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I want to
That's when you,
mention.
that's you're right. That's
Yeah,
when you really get the sense. All of a sudden, you're with the Australians and the Jamaicans and the
yeah,
India. I mean, from India, they speak English, right?
yes,
African
some
countries, they
Africans,
speak English.
absolutely.
Nigerians, and you really get the sense. And everybody's got their flags. And even though the catechesis is the activity of the whole morning, so from 9 in the morning, let's say, or 10 in the morning, not sure when they're going to start, till noon. Usually there's mass, so they will all conclude with mass. So everybody gets daily mass. The actual catechesis portion with the bishop might only be an hour, but
Yep.
there's a whole other event that's happening surrounding that key moment with the bishop.
Testimonies, praise and
Exactly.
worship, music,
Exactly.
skits. Yeah.
Testimony. Yeah, exactly.
And if you paid attention to our previous shows, and especially I believe it's episode 52, we were looking at these Rise Up catechesis. There are three separate
Yep.
catechesis with themes. The first one being integral ecology,
Yeah.
looking at the
So that'll
document
be
of
Wednesday. Yeah.
Laudato Si. And the second one being Fratelli Tutti, and the third one being a little bit of Evangelium Gaudium. But these are the works of Pope Francis, who's encouraging the young church to take a look at these documents that he has written and see how they can be implemented in our
Exactly.
environments, whether it's locally or on a universal level. I find it interesting, though, that the, it reminds me a little bit of Australia. I don't know if you remember, in Australia they were very localized, as something that you mentioned, that they're not going to be something like a huge, stadium like what Cologne, Germany, and what a little bit of
Yeah. Or
Krakow was,
Madrid.
right?
Yeah.
You have a huge stadium. All the English pilgrims go into that stadium. I mean, it's cool to think like you can fit 50, 60,000 people into a stadium filled with that language, but let's not forget, Lisbon has only two stadiums. That's one. So that's immediately cut off. Like, it's not going to work. But to be able to spend time in parishes, it makes it more
It's
intimate.
big. Yeah,
It makes it more
exactly.
intimate.
Exactly. And when it's really well organized, the pilgrims are staying with families or in schools or in that parish, but around that parish. So you might be staying in a school and it's very close to that parish where your catechesis site's going to be. So you kind of feel, and you're there all 3 days. So you
Yep.
feel like it's your parish, and the parish community really welcomes all the pilgrims, and they sort of really go to town with making you feel welcome. So that's super special. So that's the morning on Wednesday. And as Dario mentioned, so the first catechesis theme is on integral ecology. So that's looking at elements from the Pope's encyclical Laudato Si on sustainability and integral ecology. Um, And we spoke about that when we were doing the preparatory sessions. And then after, so you'll have mass that concludes the morning sessions, and
Probably
then
noon or one
lunch,
o'clock. Yeah.
exactly lunch. However, you're going to do lunch with your group. Sometimes lunch is available right there at the parish and the catechesis site. Sometimes there are venues nearby that you can go and get lunch. With this system of lunch tickets, you will have your lunch ticket, and it might be dated. It might actually say Wednesday, August 2nd, lunch. And then you go to a restaurant or a venue that has the little pilgrim sticker, and that's where you get the lunch menu, if that's what your group is doing. And then Wednesday is really, for me, has always been the day to do youth festival, to go to the vocations fair. So the City of Joy is what they're calling it. There's opportunity for reconciliation as well, although that's more of a Friday activity. But I'm not going to tell people not to go to confession.
No.
Uh, but it's sort of more the up, because there's no main event on Wednesday. The Pope does arrive in
In the
Lisbon on
afternoon?
Wednesday at like at 8 in the morning or something.
Is it in the
Um,
morning or is it the afternoon? Wow.
no, it's in the morning. No, sorry, at 10 in the morning. He
10 in the
leaves
morning. Okay.
Rome at 8 in the
At 8
morning.
a.m.
Yeah, he arrives. There's an official welcome, but this is not a World Youth Day official welcome. This is a papal visit official welcome. So it'll be the president of the republic, and that. I would highly encourage pilgrims and pilgrim leaders to not get distracted by that. Go to your catechesis site. Maybe some of those images might be on the screen, wherever your catechesis site is, for a little bit. Maybe not. That's not why you're there. You're there
Good
for
point.
catechesis with the bishop. Um, and then the Pope is doing whatever other official papal visit, courtesy visit to the president of the republic, and meeting with authorities and uh, civil leaders, and meeting with the prime minister. And then the Pope at 5:30 has a meeting, the vespers, with bishops, priests, deacons, etc. But
I
those are
want to
not
emphasize
activities.
too
Those are
that
not World Youth Day activities.
even us journalists who are accredited at World Youth Day are not invited to the welcoming of the Holy Father at the airport because it's going to be a state event. So we have to get accredited by the country of Portugal, which we're not
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
at World Youth Day, although that's nice and wonderful. Remember, Deacon Pedro makes a really good point. Don't attempt to think like you can try to find the map of the location of where Pope is going to be driving.
No, yeah.
Just focus on
Yeah. If
enjoying
and
those.
and you know what? You might say, oh, we're gonna skip catechesis that day. We'll get catechesis Thursday, Friday, and that day we're gonna have our own mass in the hotel, and then we're gonna watch the Pope's arrival. I would not encourage you to do that.
No.
Go to your catechesis, do World Youth Day. That's why you're there. And in the afternoon, the Pope is doing whatever the Pope is doing. You're going to a youth festival. There's going to be tons of youth festival events. There's the soccer. I believe that's also on Wednesday.
Yep.
Um,
Same with
there's
volleyball too. It's not just
the
soccer. It's
vol exactly. I was trying to think what the other sport was. It's
beach
volleyball.
volleyball, I think they call it.
So maybe you're participating in that. So all those are happening throughout the week, but Wednesday is really the day that you're going to have more time to enjoy and benefit from the youth festival event. So that would be my suggestion. Really take advantage of youth festival on that day, and if you want or have time, to go visit the vocations fair on at the City of Joy Park. That would be the Wednesday. And there might be like a big concert that night that it's also part of the youth festival, but it might be kind of more a featured concert. Um, once the youth festival schedule program is available, we will know. But some artists that already know that they're going, like Father Rob Gallia, for example, you might want to look at what he's doing,
Tuesday
and go to
night.
his concert. Or
Martyrs.
yeah, well, that's Tuesday night.
That's
Yeah,
Tuesday night. But
that's
he is
Tuesday
doing
night.
something on Wednesday night too.
But
Um,
exactly. So what I'm saying,
yeah.
but each individual artist, so I'm sure like Ivan Diaz is probably going to be there. They just released the English version, the official English version, video of the theme song. PJ Anderson, I'm sure that all those people from the video will be there. I don't know if Matt Maher is going to be. I have not heard that Matt is going. I don't think he will be there. But there are other artists that you might want to see.
Can I put a
Um,
plug here for two things real quick on that?
yeah.
Um, so the catechetics site, for those of you guys not going to World Youth Day, we're actually going to be live streaming the Rise Up Catechesis for all of you to watch from your home. We're going to have a page dedicated to live streaming on worldyouthday.com, which we'd love for you guys to join in and watch. It'll be a video embedded there, and you will see everything live as it happens up to the Mass, because we will not be live streaming Mass, because Mass has to be a point of intimacy for young people to be there in front of the priest. The second thing too, for those of you guys who are Americans, the USCCB, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, is actually having the American Gathering Wednesday night. Location to be announced, times will be announced, but it would be somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. or 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. That evening, which will kind of coincide pre-dinner or post-dinner, and then before the concerts. So like the concerts will start around 9 p.m. I don't know if you've been watching, but in Lisbon, every festival event starts around 9 p.m. So if the event for the Catholic bishops of the United States ends at 8, you'll have plenty of time to move over to your concert, and you'll have time to engage in that as well. So just have to throw those two in, because I know the Canadians are definitely doing it on Tuesday. We still don't know yet where and when. That is to be announced. The United States is having their gathering on Wednesday night, since we're talking about Wednesday, but more to come on that later. But anyway, sorry, I had to put those.
No, thank you for mentioning that. I'd forgotten about the U.S. gathering.
Yeah.
That it's taking place on Wednesday, and that's, I encourage all U.S. pilgrims to go to their gathering. Again, it's a great opportunity to get connected with your local quote unquote church, even though the United States is such a big country, but at least it's, it's like the United States, and you get to see all, Dario said 60 U.S. bishops are attending.
Yeah.
That's
over
amazing.
47,000 U.S. pilgrims have registered.
Exactly. So to have all of them in a park outside together, and it'll give you a real good sense of the American church, the church in the United States, so that when you go back home, if you're from the United States, to get connected. If you're from Australia, the Australians will be having a gathering. If you're from New Zealand or from Ireland, all those countries, Jamaica, India, you're having your national gatherings, as well as, like we mentioned the other day, movements. So if you belong to the Jesus Youth Movement, or Net Ministries, or Focus, they might be having their own events that you might want to attend as well, the Charismatic Renewal as well. So those are all happening probably, if not on Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. But they might be happening on Wednesday. So that's something that you might be able to also get plugged into. So then, that's Wednesday. I mean, Wednesday's a great day because it's not so, there's a little more flexibility.
Yeah, it's a little bit relaxing. So that night, I definitely encourage all of you to have a nice dinner, get some sleep, because you're about to get into the busiest 4 days of the World Youth Day experience, which leads us now to Thursday morning. Hopefully by that point, you've slept 7 hours or 8 hours at least. And Thursday morning, we go back to our parishes that we're connected to, the same parish, the same location where you went for the first catechetical session. The second Rise Up Catechesis session that will be held on Thursday morning will be the theme of Fratelli Tutti, or to social friendship. And so it's a great opportunity for us to describe, what does it mean to be in dialogue with, our communities, not just locally in our towns, in our schools, our parishes, our work environments, but also in the world. And so this is a beautiful catechesis. And again, we're going to live stream the second catechesis as well. And the same thing will happen, that there will be mass afterwards, leading us to about 1 o'clock, which we will probably be dismissed from that point to get your lunch. So, I mean, it's kind of redundant to go over all the details of what happens during that time, because it's the same. Another bishop will be there, most likely, 100% most likely. You will not have the same bishop you had day one.
No.
And it might not even be from the same conference. So I love when people are like, "Will we have American bishops for all 3 days?" No, you will not.
You will not.
You will not. I can guarantee you that. Yeah,
exactly. So that's great. That's great. Yeah. So that same format from Wednesday will happen again on Thursday, and it will happen again on Friday as well. And it's a different topic. It's a different opportunity, like Dario said, also a different bishop. So highly encourage you to do catechesis. That's why you're there. In some ways, I'd say that catechesis really is the main core event of World Youth Day. Those three catechesis sessions, that's where you're going. Then on Thursday, so Thursday at 6, I'm going to say 6 o'clock, but I know it's at 5:45 on the schedule here,
give or take.
is the official papal welcome ceremony. So depending on where you are from lunch, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, there's not a lot of time to do anything else but to get to the Colina do Encontro, or the otherwise known
Eduardo
as
the
the
Seventh.
park. Yeah, Eduardo the Seventh Park, for the papal welcome ceremony. Depending, maybe you're really close and you might be able to find a youth festival event, or maybe there's something else happening. Likely, there's not going to be a lot of youth festival events happening in that time. So
I,
you
I
could
mean,
go to
churches will
mass,
be
have
open.
your lunch,
You
and
can
then make
visit a
your
church
way.
or two. Maybe
Yeah, you could
get
visit a church or two. If you didn't get to go to the Carlo Acutis event on Tuesday night, maybe you can visit that church that afternoon,
yeah
because the relics will be on exhibit there, as will the Pier Giorgio
until
Frassati
Thursday. After
relics.
that, that's it. I mean, there's no Friday, so you
Is
gotta be.
Frassati as well? Frassati relics,
Frassati, yeah, that's right. No, Blessed Pure Georgia Frassati is in a different church. It's Our
but
Lady
they're,
of the
yeah,
Rosary. I think
exactly.
for
So
those of you
again,
guys that are interested
those
in
are
John
all
Paul II and Blessed Pure Georgia, right?
exactly, and those will all be on the youth festival program, so that you
Yeah.
know which churches are hosting exhibits or have relics. So there might be something that you can do, but make your way to the welcome ceremony, in the same way that on Tuesday we spoke about, kind of, you don't want to be there too early, but you don't want to be late, because
Yes.
we don't know how difficult it's going to be to get in terms of traffic, or in terms of subway access or walking. A lot of people, security, getting in. It might take you an hour just to get into the park, finding your spot, all that.
And
And
remember, you're not, it's not the bishop walking around. I mean, that's one thing when it's just a bishop, but now you have a head of state. A
yeah,
head of
no, the
state. I mean,
security
the
will
Pope is the head of
yeah,
state, so their security is going to be very
the
tight.
security is going to be tighter on Thursday, 100%. But what I was
Especially
going
in
to
the
say is that
Pope's route, right? I mean, you remember this. Like they'll shut the streets down. If
yeah,
your group
exactly.
is halfway into the other side of the street and the other half doesn't make it, you will not be able to move until the Pope passes by, and that could be three,
Yes.
4 hours.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So now, from what I understand, the Pope is not doing anything that afternoon. So he
No.
has the meeting with young people in a different town, actually, at
Yes.
the Escolas Ocurrentes, and then there's nothing for the Pope to do. The Pope needs to rest, because he can't have a
Absolutely.
heavy schedule, so he rests in the afternoon. But Dario's right. At some point, probably around 5 o'clock, that motorcade is going to start, and the Pope is on his way. Depending on how far he is staying, it might just be 5:30, but they'll close everything, lock down. If you didn't get in, you're not getting in until the Pope is in. And then it's likely that the Pope will do a little drive through
Hmm.
in the park. So that might take about 15 minutes before they go up on stage and the event starts. But if you're there 2 hours before, there will be events and music and activities and things happening on the stage, so that it's not like you're sitting there doing nothing, having to pray the rosary or anything like that. There's
But
going
I
to
would
be
definitely encourage you guys to wear a hat. I mean, I cannot
yes,
tell you enough how important that is, because there is no shade at this park. This park is completely exposed to the element of the sunlight. So, and if it's a cloudy day, thanks be to God, you'll have a little bit of break. But if you guys are, you're gonna get burnt. I'm telling you right now, like this is an open air park. They're very, very minimal shade. There will be first aid tents nearby. There will be plenty stations for buying food and drink and so on. There's even a gift shop somewhere around the area where you can buy supplies. The media is posted on the sides and on the far
yeah,
back of the park. I mean, we've already seen images of what this is going to look like, and I can tell you right now that you want to get in that area, but you also make sure that you bring the hat that is packed for you in the pilgrim kit, because we don't want you to get sunburned, and it doesn't hurt having sunblock with you at all times, especially in Lisbon. It might not be super hot, but you're still going to get sunburned.
Yeah, sunburn, and again the water. Make sure you have water. Bring
Yes.
your water. There might be water for sale or available there, but it might not be easy to move around once you get to your to your section. It might not be easy to move around. Sometimes people decide to move around and it's okay to move around and they leave and you literally don't see them for an hour because it
Yeah.
took them half an hour to get to where they were going and half an hour to get back.
Especially in the
So
bathrooms. I can guarantee
yeah,
you
the
that.
bathrooms are they're going to be in the
Yes.
back somewhere. Yeah, yes. So I'm a big fan of on the first couple days, go to find a little convenience store and get yourself like a bag of apples and some
Yeah.
peanut butter and some bread, because maybe or
Smart.
granola bars, so that you have that with you if someone's hungry or someone's having low blood sugar or something. You can give them something right there. You don't have to go and buy things.
Yeah, people are not
Um,
going to go walk around selling you snacks, you know. They're not doing that
no,
because
no,
this is
that's
not
not
a
happening.
sporting event.
No,
This is an
no,
encounter with the successor of Peter, and
yeah,
as Deacon
and
Pedro mentioned, it's very important. Have something with you. Bring a deck of cards. Bring a blanket.
yeah.
Bring whatever you want. I mean, you're going to be laying on the floor probably. They're not. There's no chairs. No
No, no, but
chairs.
it'll be fun. It'll be
Yeah.
fun. I'm curious, Dario, do you know how they're handling translations?
Yeah, so you're going to have most likely a radio station broadcasted from the very top of the screens. They'll give you some radio stations to tune into, and you'll see that language associated with that station, and the translation will be given to you that way. Or you can
with
wait.
your
Yes, with
with
your
your cell phone.
smartphone, and you can connect to, there'll even be QR codes where you just have to scan at that right moment, right? And then it'll take you immediately to that site where you can listen into the podcasting of that language. Or if you want, you can be patient after the event is done. The whole translation will be posted on many media outlets. I know worldut.com will be posting it on our social media, on our website, under the
Yeah,
video
social
live
social
stream of
media.
the
Yeah,
event itself.
yeah,
So you'll find it. But if you want to listen to it live, and especially because the Pope most likely will be speaking in Portuguese, he
Spanish.
did that in Brazil. So
Yeah,
it's no surprise that he might speak in Portuguese, or if worse comes to
or
worse,
Spanish.
well, not even Spanish. I would say Italian because as a bishop of Rome, right? He did this in Krakow, not even bothered doing it in any other language but Italian.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it could be Spanish, it could be
yeah. It could
Portuguese.
be Yeah, but either way, it's not going to be English.
No, it's definitely not going to be
So
English. I can guarantee you that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. So it might be difficult. What Dario's saying is very true, and it might be difficult to sit there and not understand anything and wait until afterwards. If you can connect, I would try to connect, especially you want to hear the Pope, especially if he's asking questions.
yeah. But with that said,
You have
also,
no idea what the Pope just said and what people are responding to. Um, but it's true. It's good to always go back, whether you understood everything. It's always good to go back and even at least read the Pope's address afterwards, because he will say some things that you didn't even notice that he said, um, and that might touch you in a different way afterwards that didn't touch you when you heard them the first time. So that's always good to know that worldut.com, Salt and Light Media, everybody's going to post everything on their website, so you have lots of access to all the translated the coverage of the event and the actual documents in English as well.
I would make sure you guys all bring a battery pack for your phones. You will not have outlets like where you guys are going to be on the grass. And because we're going to be depending on our devices to broadcast a translation, having a little storage bank for charging your phones while you're out and about per pilgrim, not for the group. You're not going to be able to do that. I would bring your own little battery pack that you attach to your phone, or the battery pack that you can connect to your phone and have that with you while you're there. But
Yep.
that pretty much concludes like Thursday, because afterwards, as Deacon Pedro mentioned, it's similar as Wednesday. There's another festival that evening, or maybe you're just so excited to have seen the Holy Father that maybe that day you're just like, you know what? Let's sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's share about it. And then be prepared for Friday, because Friday we're going to have to do Friday in another episode because we're already out of time. But Friday, I'm telling you, like, it will be another opportunity to go to your final catechetic site and, most importantly, hear the Holy Father one more time at the Via Crucis. Anyways, we're out of time. I'm just realizing that we
Yeah.
don't have enough time to do more on Friday. But until next time, stay tuned to our next episode where we will look at Friday and Saturday. as we move, getting ready to conclude World Youth Day. From all of us at worldyouthday.com and wydycentral.org, thank you for joining us, and God bless you.